Okay, hey folks. I'm just going to quickly talk you through how to install and set up the Logitech Capture software so you can record your therapy sessions on your DHC laptop. So we're going to start by opening up Chrome, or it can be any web browser. That's absolutely fine. And you want to find the Logitech Capture software. So you can just search for Logitech Capture. Click Logitech Capture here, and then we should see a page that looks like this. So we're going to download for Windows 10 64-bit. Download that here, and it's just downloading now, but I've already downloaded it, so I'm going to open up the version I downloaded earlier. And I'm just going to minimize the other stuff in the background so we can just see what's happening here. So we want to install Logitech Capture. Don't really want to share analytics data. Let that whir around for a moment. Okay, so it's now installed. I'm going to launch it. Okay, you won't get this every single time, but just some adverts and some additional information about how the software works, but we can just skip all the way through it and close. It doesn't normally take this long to open, it's just because it's the first time. Okay, there we are. So we're now in the software, excuse me, itself. And you can see here, so no source selected, choose a source from the drop down on the left. And that's referring to this section over here. The source, this is basically it saying, what do you want me to record? If we click on the list, we can see a list of all the things Logitech software could record. So it could record display one. This is the entire screen. You can see here, if I move my mouse away from the left, all the way to the right, it will record the entire screen. Now we know that's not necessarily the most helpful approach to take. So let's say, for example, you are in Google Chrome and you're about to use AccuRx. So we'll go to the AccuRx site. We don't need to log into it yet, but if we go back to the Logitech Capture software, it's now showing us the entire screen, including itself, which is why this kind of moves around a bit like this. It's kind of like looking at an infinity mirror. But what we want to do, go back to the source one, display one option. We want to find Google Chrome. So now we're saying, I just want you to record Google Chrome. Do not record anything else. So you can see when I switch between display one, where you can see everything on the screen, including the left menu bar. If I change that to Chrome or Edge or Firefox, whatever browser you find yourself using, you can see here that the menu bar or the start bar on the left hand side is gone. It's no longer there. As soon as my mouse moves outside of Chrome, it's no longer recording. So this is pretty useful when you want to record a therapy session and you don't want your notes to be visible. You can just record just the browser window, not anything else. So if I move Google Chrome over to here, so it takes up half of the screen, and I go back to Logitech Capture. So now you can see, if I move this out of here, this is all it's going to record, just the browser window. So if I've got a therapy session going on here, I've got my client and myself in this session, nothing else is being recorded. So we could, in theory, we could have, let's say you're making some notes on Notepad. Let's say the notes are on the left-hand side and Google Chrome is on the right-hand side. Here are my notes. I'll show you what Logitech Capture will record. It's not recording the notes. So it's just recording the browser and anything on top of the browser, but it's not recording anything that comes off the screen. So the Logitech Capture software will not record the notes. But let's look at some of the other options. We've set it up to only record the browser window. This second source, just leave that as none. You don't need a second source. In terms of here, the watermark, or the other additional settings, you can turn the watermark off. So I'll just turn it back on for a second. If I go back here, you should see it says Logi in the bottom right. That's just an advert for Logitech. We don't need that, so we can remove that. And that's gone. We don't want text overlay, we don't want scene effects. We just want a basic recording. You don't, so this is about how the resolution and the frame rate. So you might have to play around with this to find something that works for you and also what the university will accept. But you can record in full HD if you want to. You can record it in 720p or 360p. If you're having a difficulty with speed, I'd recommend setting it to 360p. And then in terms of FPS or frames per second, taking that down to 24. 24 frames a second is still plenty. That's what they shoot films and TV at. So that's absolutely fine. And if you want to play around with high resolution so things become a little bit clearer, you're very welcome to. So you might be able to see over here, the text becomes a little bit clearer. It's now full HD. You can read the AccuRx and click here to learn more about our medical record sharing solution. If I go down to 360, that becomes a little bit harder to read. Video encoder can stay as it is. You can change where the files are stored if you want to. And here for the audio settings, you just want to make sure that it is recording your audio. So you can have it as the default microphone. This is my headset that I'm using at the moment. The default microphone should be absolutely fine. On the left-hand side, there's a few kind of shortcuts if you want to practice using these. I really only recommend this one, Alt-R to start stop recording, but we can use the button down here. This is asking you to log into your account. There's no need to do that. And then you can change a few more settings here in the bottom left with these three dots. So you can turn the dark theme on if you want to, if you prefer that. You can get it to auto update. And so that's the basic settings. And then all you need to do to start recording is just down here, this little record button. You click that record button, gives you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, and we're now recording. Now this looks like a nightmare, doesn't it? But as soon as we move this away, you can begin to see what we will record. And you can just minimize this, and it will run in the background. And once your session has come to an end, you can pull up the Logitech software again, hit stop, and then the recording has stopped. And you can click on this folder here, and it will show you where all your recordings are. You'll want to rename these to something sensible, but these are all the recordings you'll be able to see here. So that is how to set up Logitech Capture software. If you want to test it out, what I would recommend doing is you want to find something that makes a sound. So just go to YouTube and open up, frankly, any video that has sound, and just get it playing. So if I want to test this out, I'll go to YouTube, find a video, something that's not ridiculous. I don't know why it's recommending Fred Astaire, but a bit of Fred Astaire. Check that down a little bit. And then start recording. 3, 2, 1. And then just start talking. Just make a few sounds with your mouth. So, sorry, my computer's having performance issues because I'm recording my software twice. But you can just talk over the top of it. And if you then, you can then stop the audio and you can stop this recording here, let that save itself, click the folder here, and you can see here. So this is the video I just made. Click on that. No. You could hear the video in the background. You could hear me talking, which means when you're in a therapy session with a client, it will record the client speaking and it will record you speaking as well. And then on the left-hand side, you can have all your notes. And that is how to set up and test the Logitech Capture software.